Welcome once again to Let's Talk Marriage. This is Pastor Larry coming to you this Wednesday afternoon with Let's Talk Marriage. All right. We're going to get right on into our program on today. I hope everyone is doing well. If you woke up this morning, you are doing well. And I hope everyone is keeping warm out there. It's pretty cold. We didn't experience this last winter, and I don't think that much the winter before that. So it's a shock to some people. But if you used to being in the Chicagoland area or the surrounding suburbs, you are used to this kind of weather. Doesn't mean you like it, but you used to it. Okay, we're going to be talking about on our program today is we're going to be talking about building a healthy communication. Building healthy communication. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Is building healthy relationships, communication in relationships. Being truthful and transparent with your spouse will only go so far without good communication habits. That is so true because we mentioned it before, and I've even mentioned it a lot of times in my messages that just because you're telling the truth does not mean that it's the right time. Being truthful is all in good timing because you can very well tell the truth and it's not the right time to tell the truth. So you have to make sure that when you are bringing out the truth, it's the right time. And it doesn't not exclude you from saying the wrong thing just because you're telling the truth. And a lot of times we as ministers get caught up in, well, I'm just going to tell people the truth. A lot of times you have to hold back the truth. Yeah, you bring it out, but you have to make sure it's the right timing. It's all in the timing. And timing is very important with everything in life. Even a good comedian will tell you that you have to have good timing, even with a good joke, because if you tell the joke and the timing is not right, nobody's going to get what you're talking about. And the same thing with music. You can know all the words in the song, but if you don't have the right timing, it's not going to be presented well. So it's all in the timing. It's important to communicate with truth, with grace to your spouse. Let me repeat that. That's merit repeating. It's important to communicate truth with grace. Grace to your spouse. In other words, you don't have to yell the truth. You don't have to say the truth or bring out the truth in the middle of an argument. It could be very well truth, but you just adding coal to the fire when you bring out the truth at the wrong time. That's going back to the first statement of timing. It's all in your timing. It is important to communicate truth with grace to your spouse. If you're all truth, your honesty won't be received well. That is so true. And that's the same thing with the message. As being a minister, I find out that just because you're being truth and honesty, it's not always received well. Because it's based on the timing. For instance, you wouldn't go in a room full of overweight people and start making comments about people being overweight. It might be very well true that you have a room full of overweight people. It is not the time to say it. Say it. The timing is wrong. So it's the same thing in a marriage. You just because you have the truth and you know the truth, it does not mean that it's the right time and it won't be received as well. You could inadvertently cause hurt and create a rift in your relationship. That is so true. And a lot of times when you're telling the truth, you're not meaning to hurt someone, but you have to get your truth out, and and you figure if it's the truth. But you hear people say a lot of times, and I totally disagree with that. Oh, the truth hurt. The truth does not hurt. The truth help. It does not hurt. How can you help someone and hurt them at the same time? That doesn't even make sense if you think about it. So the truth does not hurt. If somebody's saying that they're telling you the truth and it's hurting you, they're not telling you the truth. It might be truthful, but it's not the truth. What they're doing is trying to get back at you or get even with you. And a lot of times we use that to get, think about it when you're in an argument with someone, and they have the upper hand on you, and and they're trying to tell you something about yourself, and then all of a sudden you say something that might be truthful, but it's from years ago or whatever. You're trying to get back at them. It's the truth. So we have to make sure that when we're communicating the truth, we do it in honesty, and we keep it at the right time. Uh, Here's some more here. If you're all truth, your honesty won't be received well, and you could inadvertently cause hurt and create a rift in your relationship. We just talked about that. It is important to choose your words carefully, so as not to stir up conflict or get a rise out of your spouse. you, get back at each other. I got one on you. You don't want to start those arguments over. And sometimes it be just little simple things, and we like to use the truth to again to get back at people. And let me repeat that what it said here. It's important to choose your words carefully. That is so true. We have to be wise when we're telling the truth, and that's the same thing in the ministry. When you're a minister, you have to choose your words wisely when you preach, because you can, and you hear a lot of people say, "Oh, you didn't get offended." Yeah, you can offend people. You if you tell them the truth the right way, they'll receive it well. Think about it, all the mistakes and things that the disciples made. Jesus gave them the truth, but he gave it to them in a way that it trained them. People will receive training versus you trying to correct them. You can correct someone out in love, and when you correct them in love, they'll receive it better. And that's how Jesus was with the disciples. Even though they made a lot of mistakes, they had crazy questions. They didn't know. I mean, he was the Son of God, and this is the first time the Son of God had ever came to earth. Think about it. This is the first time the Son of God had came to earth. They had questions. They believed in him, but they had questions, and that's how it is in life. Yeah, and even in a, like in a marriage, you have questions and things come up, and things have to be covered, things have to be discussed, and you don't want to wait too long before you discuss something, because things start to animosity start to build up. But what you have to do is you have to wait for that timing to have correct communication, or have a healthy communication. That's why we're talking about building healthy communication. And again, it goes back to timing. It's all in the timing. On the flip side, speaking with too much grace and too little truth won't help matters either. So you have to make sure you get your point across. And if you say it in a way where it's not meaning anything or not going anywhere, then they still won't get the point. Just for instance, if you're trying to get a point across to your children, that's why sometimes you hear people say, "Oh, my kid's so hard headed. They so hard headed." You might have given them the truth, but they didn't uh, get the gist of the what would happen, or the reactions or the actions, the consequences of their actions. They didn't get what happened, by not following what you instructed them to do, which would be giving them the truth. They didn't understand the repercussions of what would happen if they did not follow the truth. So you have to make sure you get your point across without being vulgar, without being mean, without being rude. You have to make sure you get your point across. And it's all in grace. You have to have grace when you and some people have that knack for being graceful, and other people have to work on it. Some people have to like work on their grace. They'll say, "Oh, I'll have to watch it next time." Did I say that right? Think about it before you give the truth. Think about how the other person would receive it, or how you would receive it, or how you would want to receive it. So you can't always just say what's on your mind. You hear a lot of people, "I'm gonna give you a piece of my mind." You can't always give people or a piece of your mind, especially in a marriage. You're gonna be going tiff for tiff, tiff for taff, how they say it. That's what you're gonna be doing. So you have to make sure that we watch how we talk, our tone, and my wife always said a good one. She always say that you have to watch your facial expressions. And a lot of times, sometimes I'm not aware of my facial expressions. My wife always say, "Oh, you should have saw your facial expressions," and they do tell a lot. She's absolutely right. Your facial expressions does tell a lot. Make sure that we are communicating in grace and in love, and that's it. That's anything in life. And I find out sometimes a lot of things you have to work on. I know I have to work on things because I'm not a perfect person. So there's a lot of things that we all have to work on, and that's what makes us believers in Christ. That's what makes us. That's what makes a healthy marriage. That's what's make healthy communication, or building healthy communication, is working on and thinking before you speak, because you don't want to just say the first thing to come off the top of your head, because when we all get upset, we all get in a position where we get offended or something, and we might try to defend ourselves by saying something, repeating something that it might be the truth, but it might not be the time to say that truth or speak about that truth. So this is what we want to make sure that we are doing as Christians in a love-filled Christian marriage. You want to make sure you build healthy communications. And the thing about healthy communication, it can help you in all aspects of life, on your job, at school, at work. Even with your friends, when you have healthy communication, you can have lasting friendships. Sometimes you have to agree to disagree. You don't always have to win the argument. You don't always have to have the hands up, the hand up on the argument. Sometimes just because, again, it's the truth might not be the time to speak the truth. And again, I've always said that, and this is one of the main parts of our ministry is when we are talking about the truth does not hurt. Anytime someone tell you that, "Oh, I'm gonna tell you the truth, it might hurt," yeah, they're not telling you the truth. They're trying to get back at you, or they're trying to, make you feel guilty. The truth, it'll put things on your mind. It'll make you change directions if it's presented properly, and it is very effective, and it can change lives if you give it the right way. For instance, you can't just walk up, if you're witnessing, you can't just walk up to someone and say, "Oh, you going to hell." You don't even know that person. How you know where they're going? They might get to heaven before you do. So you can't do that. And even if you see them doing something, you still can't walk up to them and say, "You going to hell." You can't do that. Just like you can't walk up to your wife and say, "You look at you, you're nasty. You need to clean up this house." The house might need cleaning. That might be the truth, but the way that you presented that is going to start a whole nother argument. Instead of you helping her to clean up, get everything in order, or vice versa, the wife helping the husband to clean up, instead of just saying you need to do this and you need to do that, and we're real bad at that, especially as us being Christians. We love to be right as Christians, so we have to make sure that we present our truth with grace and with love. This is Pastor Larry. We're going to be signing off here with building healthy communications. This is Pastor Larry. Until we meet again, also, I want to take this opportunity to invite you out to our services. That's at the Plainfield Township Community Center, or the Plainfield Community Center at 15014 Splain Street in Plainfield, Illinois. Our services begin on Sunday morning at 11 a.m. We would like to see you in the place. This is Pastor Wilson. Until we meet again. Let's talk marriage. All right.